Good afternoon, Sierra Vista and surrounding community. This is Melanie Edwards Barton, CEO at the Sierra Vista Area Chamber of Commerce. And we have a special guest with us today. This is Ethan Bradley. Welcome, Ethan.
Hello, everyone.
And so he is the chief, this is kind of long, chief at the Housing Division and the Directorate of Public Works, or with the Directorate of Public Works.
Correct.
And so there's a lot of people out there that are going, what? So explain to them a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Sure. The short title is really Chief of the Army Housing Office on Fort Huachuca. So I run the government side of the housing office. And I say that because we're going to talk briefly about the private side of the housing on Fort Huachuca. But in the government side, I oversee the privatized housing on post. I oversee the barracks on post. Very loosely have oversight of the Army lodging with the IHG hotels and Candlewood Suites on post. So really anything that has to deal with anyone who sleeps on post at night is under my umbrella.
Wow, that's a lot.
I have people.
Yeah, that's good.
I have people helping me.
So we wanted to bring you on today because you're looking for some information, and we'll go over that. But our community, some of our community members can really help out with this information.
I hope so.
So, yeah, absolutely. And it really matters to our community, and it matters to our soldiers. So let's tell our folks out there. How is Mountain Vista Communities associated?
So, and that's what I was talking about. The government side is me. Mountain Vista Communities is our private partner. They are a private company entity that provides all of the on-post family housing. So there's over 1,000 homes on post for our families, our service members and their families. And those are owned and operated by Mountain Vista Communities.
So Mountain Vista Communities is a member of the chamber as well. And so we got to talking yesterday at the Military Affairs Luncheon and talking about the information that you need to collect. So we wanted to help people in our community understand about housing on the fort and how that works. And you said there's about 1,000 homes, which we think, wow, that's a lot of homes. And it is. It's a lot of homes. But we have more soldiers and families than we have homes.
We certainly do.
Yes. And so then the Army has Plan B when they don't have enough housing, and that is to provide BAH so that they can live in our community. So let's talk a little bit about BAH. Okay.
Actually, you kind of stumbled inadvertently on one of the myths out there, is that the off-post housing is Plan B. It's not. Off-post housing is Plan A. The Department of Defense stated policy in a couple different documents is that the majority of their service members at any installation live off-post in the community. The Department of Defense wants their service members to be integrated into the communities and part of the community. So on-post housing is
Plan B. So from my history and being married to the military, we spent time over in Europe. And it was almost the opposite, I think, there, or at least that's the way it was pushed, was like, oh, well, let's fill up everything that we have here on our post, and if we need to have off post, then there was opportunity for that. So it's a little different over there, I think, probably because it was Europe. And but here, Plan A is in the community.
For the Department of Defense. And I say it that way because for Fort Huachuca, we really want everyone to live on post first. But we want to make sure that they have the adequate allowances to live off post when the on post is not available, which seems to be the case more often than not. And that's because Mountain Vista Communities is such an excellent provider with a great reputation, well earned. So they score highly every year on their annual customer satisfaction surveys. Great provider. So on post is definitely Plan A here.
Well, and I gotta say, when we moved here 20 years ago, we did live on post, for a brief time before we bought off post, but the housing was not then what it is now. It was different. There was most of those were torn down and then new homes built in place, and big difference. So the homes that are on the fort now are just beautiful, gorgeous. And I know that you said you're going through a remodeling or coming up on a remodeling from some of those already?
We are. We're renovating the neighborhood in Cavalry Park 5. They were built just over 20 years ago. So they're already up for renovations. And if you want to know more about that, if you Look on YouTube for Fort Report renovations. Our public affairs officer, Angie Camara, did a great video highlighting those renovations. So we won't go too far into that.
Oh, I'd love to see that. We'll have to get that link and post that for our viewers, excuse me, so that they can see that.
So let's talk about this. So that's the on-post solution. So off-post, like I said, the Department of Defense wants the majority of their people to live off-post. So they have established the basic allowance for housing, which we call BAH because we love acronyms in the military.
Love them.
But that allowance for housing is set up by the Department of Defense specifically to provide a mechanism for their policy and to allow soldiers and service members to live out in their communities. That rate is set every year, and it can go down if the market goes down. Fort Huachuca and our surrounding community has seen the rates decrease in 2014, and it took us 7 years to get those back to where they needed to be. So we've had great successes the last 2 years, putting them back where they needed to be to allow our service members to afford quality housing out in the community. What we want to do for 2023 is to continue that. I think we're getting closer to where we need to be, but we want to continue increasing it. And we never want to see that decrease again. And so that's why we're here today, because it takes the community to help us set those rates. We can't. It's all driven by the market in the community.
Well, and that's interesting information. We all know what's happened with our real estate community lately, or the last couple of years. I mean, obviously real estate has gone through the roof. It is absolutely a seller's market. There's not much in inventory anymore. And so our rents and, the cost of homes overall, the median cost has gone way up. I don't have the stats right now, but it's gone way up. And so big change. So if the BAH doesn't change, then, your typical 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, which was renting for $800 a month, a couple of years ago, is now give or take $1,400 a month. And the soldiers don't have that money because the BAH hasn't changed.
Right.
And so when that doesn't happen, how do they afford a place? And especially when there's not much inventory out there, how can they get a quality place to live on $600 less or whatever each month? They just can't afford it. And so your job is to help gather data so that can get adjusted appropriately.
Right. So our job is to capture all of the rental data for a 6-month window of this calendar year. So that window is 1 February through 1 September of 2022. All of the houses that are available for rent at any time in that period, we capture and provide to the Department of Defense through a third-party contractor who ultimately is vetting the data. So we gather it, the third-party contractor vets it and says, yes, this is real. They're not trying to just shine us on with big numbers. So they validate it, and then they send that to the Department of Defense in late September. And by December, the rates for the next year come out. So our task is the most challenging, to capture all of the accurate rents for, and we say, asterisk, for the houses that our service members and their families really desire to live in. If we're capturing rents of houses that they're just not going to rent, we may be missing the target on that. So, these are the quality of the houses, like you said. If a bidding war sold a house at a higher mortgage, now that owner has a higher mortgage, and if they choose to convert it to a rental property for any reason, that rent, in order for them to afford their mortgage, is going to be higher. So we have to capture that in order to feed that to the Department of Defense so they can put that money into our service members' pockets in order to afford that house.
Well, and I imagine when you're looking at that, you're looking at something that's comparable to the housing that you have on the fort.
Yes, for the most part. Now, on the fort, we only have 3- and 4-bedroom houses, which is another reason why that is a great solution for our junior enlisted population, because the rent, the allowance that they're given is really meant to afford an apartment or a townhouse. So the fact that they can use that money to get a full house of their own is really big for them to live on the installation. And that's a good segue into the different property types that we gather. Excuse me. For the Department of Defense, we gather the rental data for 6 different types of housing, and that's 1- and 2-bedroom apartments, 2- and 3-bedroom townhouses, and then 3- and 4-bedroom homes. So that, and those different apartment or those different housing types then feed into the different grades depending on your seniority in the service.
We all know how that works,
Yes.
though. We do know how that works. So let's talk a little bit about how this benefits our soldiers and how it benefits our community by providing this data.
Absolutely. So we have great partnerships with the community, especially the property managers. The city of Sierra Vista has partnered with us this year. Their economic development department is helping us out and vice versa. We're helping them with what we find. And also the demand signal so they can talk to future developers about what people are looking for here. So great partnerships. And in 2021, we were able to, those partnerships resulted in that first big increase that everyone already, is aware of. But what's less known is when we dig into that increase in 2021, it actually provided an additional $2.8 million into Sierra Vista and the surrounding community through those rent revenues, or like we talked about earlier, soldiers that previously had to pay out of pocket to get the house that they wanted no longer had to pay as much out of pocket or none at all, which give them more disposable income. That out of pocket money is now theirs to spend in the community at your businesses, at your restaurants, at your, at the mall.
Right. Absolutely.
So places to go and spend that money. So that totaled up to an additional $2.8 million. Last year was another $2.5 million into the community. So between the last 2 years, since 2020, those allowance increases have put $5.3 million year over year into Sierra Vista and the community and surrounding community through rents, through those disposable places, the restaurants, your all of those great shops down Fry Boulevard. So that's a success in itself, and that's why it's important to maintain and continue to increase this, because we know just from our dealings with Mountain Vista Communities as a private company, we know that any company out in town, out in our surrounding communities, have higher costs. They have higher labor costs. They have higher parts cost, supply costs. The supply chain logistics issues that we've seen this year have increased the cost of just getting, if you sell flowers, to get your flowers delivered to sell them is going to cost you more. So this, raising the allowance will continue putting more money into our service members and their families' pockets that they can spend and afford those higher costs out in the community. So it is always going to chase it because the 2023 rates are going to be based on 2022 costs. But we still want to capture that so they can still afford whatever comes next year.
That's fabulous. So we have folks in our community that can help provide this information to you. So let's talk a little bit about the information that you're looking for, and then who and how can deliver this information to you. So I know that you have a sheet, which we'll have posted on our website as well. We'll give you a link so that you can get to that. They can't submit it directly from the website, but you can get to it. You can print it, and then they can email it to you, which would be one way. But who are we looking for this information from?
Anyone that has it is the short answer.
Anyone that has it.
So, as I said, we have great partnerships with our community property managers, both for the call them multifamily properties, the apartments, the townhouses. I'm not going to name any specifically, but we have some that are really great partners. And then our single family properties, which are the individual houses that are for rent by the owners. So we have great partnerships with them, and they're feeding us a lot of good information as their units become available for rent, or if they know they're going to become available for rent. And we'll talk. You remind me to circle back to that. I think it's your last question. So
okay.
So what we're missing really is we have a lot of people we're finding out that own their house and are renting it themselves, managing that rental themselves. We don't have those connections. We don't have connections to the tenants themselves. If you're renting a house and it's managed by someone that we haven't partnered with or we're not getting information from, it's still valid information to provide us as a tenant. So
you're looking for the information from the tenants, from landlords, from
friends of landlords,
anyone, anybody that can give accurate information.
Yes. Yeah. And even if you give us a clue, we will do the sleuthing ourselves. So if you say, hey, my friend rents a 3-bedroom and they pay this much, here's the number, give them a call. We can call the friend and, with their permission, and say, who's managing your property? Who do you give your rent to? And then we can call that person and find out the rest of the information. So just like in anyone that has any information, point us in the right direction. We will find out who the contact, the point of contact for that property is, so we can get in touch with them and get the rest of the information that we need.
So let's talk a little bit about what information you're looking for. So on the form, just so that we have people out there understanding that you're not asking for personal information, you're not asking for anything like that. It's basically the contact information, and then the property address and the unit information, housing category, monthly rent. Are the utilities included? Yes or no? The cost of the utilities, average, I'm sure. And then the square footage and a unit number and an MLS number if they have that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So some of those are, we call them the required information, and we put that up on top, at the top of the form. And if you fill out the form digitally, it will, as soon as you put it in the top, it'll automatically populate the bottom, so you don't have to do it twice. But the required information, like you said, is the contact information. It's the point of contact who can validate when that third-party contractor calls and says, is this legitimate? That's who they need to call. So that's why it's necessary to have that in there. Who can they call to verify what we've said about that rental unit? And then just basic information about the unit itself, the address, the rent, the square feet. The utilities cost is, if, we should clarify it on there, it's good to know, if the utilities are included, what is that cost that they assess, so that they can, so that the contractor can remove that cost from that rent.
From the rent,
right? So we have the base rent, so you can calculate the base rent. And like you said, the form is available, and you can provide that information to us any way that you prefer. You can stop by and visit us. We always love to see visitors. We're located on the installation on Fort Huachuca, right across the street from Candlewood Suites at the corner of Smith and Arizona Streets. Most of our community, I know, especially those are retirees and whatnot, go to the commissary. You know exactly what a commissary is.
Right.
So go to the commissary, but just keep driving down Arizona. Yeah, and you'll see us.
You'll see the big hotel.
You can call us at the number on the website. That's 520-533-3611. And then, or you can also email it. There's a horrendously long email address. It's because it's a group email box that goes to our whole housing office. So I can't list it. I can't read it out because it'll just confuse myself.
We will. It's on the bottom of the form. So if you click the link for the form, you'll see that email address, or they can send it to your email address.
Yes.
Which is easier, and we'll put that in the comment section too. Yes.
So any way that you can get it to us, we'll take it. We're not going to distinguish between communication methods. So
no. Anyway, so obviously you have a deadline for this information. When is that?
The actual collection is happening from 1 February. It's already started, and the collection will end on July 29th. When July 29th is the last day that we can put information in. And then from for the month of August, that third-party contractor is then verifying anything left over that they haven't already verified. However, to be put into the collection, a 3 or 4 bedroom house or 5 bedroom house needs to be available for rent at any time between the 1st of February and the 1st of September.
Okay.
So as we near July, we're going to be putting the word out that if you know something is going to be available for rent in August, tell us now so we can get it in there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
That's important information.
Yes.
Yes. So they don't have to wait. What if they call you now with some information and then that happens to change between now and then? Just call with some updates, or but just don't wait.
Yes, don't wait. And there'll be a couple mechanisms. So if you tell us information about a rental now, if it is no longer available for rent, then the third-party contractor might discover that when they are calling to verify, and so that'll just be self-correcting. The biggest one is if it's available for rent now, and let's say the rent is $2,100, and then in July it goes up to $2,300. We need that. We need to know the rent raised. So if you have rent updates, definitely let us know that as well.
Wonderful. And so our community members out there, this is really important for financially for the community and for the fort. So vote, and for our soldiers, very much so for the soldiers, so that they can afford to live outpost.
Yes. And this is, like I said, this is the allowance that comes from the Department of Defense. So it's not as if we're moving money around Sierra Vista to Hereford to Whetstone. or from Tucson back and forth. This is coming from outside of Arizona, being pumped into Arizona, and this is our starting point, is at our community first.
So you brought up a good point there. We have soldiers, I'm sure, that live in Wichita City. They live outside of Sierra Vista. And so are you wanting information from those areas as well? Absolutely. So make sure that if you are a landlord in one of those other surrounding communities, that you provide that information as well.
The effective market area for the data collection is determined by a 30-minute drive from any of the gates. Now, don't start your stopwatch and go for a drive. Call us with that, and we will take it. And if it's a desirable unit and it's reasonable, and honestly, if a service member is renting it, okay, it's desirable, so we'll get it in there. So don't get hung up on that. That's really for our internal use. Just call us with anything. But yes, wherever our service members live or could live, in generally reasonable commuting distance to the installation. And I say any gate because you have the west gate that goes out into those communities too.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So the west gate's we call that the backup post. So it's way out that way.
Right.
So that's out towards, that's how we get to Parker Lake. That's how we get to,
I just know for Parker Lake. So.
Patagonia area out there. And so that's good information too, because they wouldn't necessarily think that they would be included.
Right.
But they are.
Yes.
And I'm sure rent is different in those areas than it is locally in Sierra Vista.
Yes.
Wow. A lot of good information. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to discuss it and present it. And I do hope to hear from more members of the community as we struggle to, it's one of our struggles, is getting the houses right now, because like you said, a lot of people have been selling off what was previously a rental. And if the new buyers aren't turning it back into a rental, we're losing rental inventory. And so we really do need help getting 3 and 4 bedroom houses into the collection.
Well, we may have a lot of new landlords out there as well. I know we had a lot of landlords previously, but then when the market rose, we had a lot of those that sold.
Right.
And so the new owners might be renting those homes out now and not realize that they can provide that information.
Right. And hopefully they're watching this.
Please. Very important for our community, very important for our soldiers. Absolutely. So great information. And give us the deadline one more time.
July 29th is the last day that we can enter information.
Okay, wonderful. And then we have the contact information as well in the comment section. So we'll make sure that all of that is there for you. And if you have questions, you get lost, whatever, you can call us here. We'll direct you in the right way to go to get that information delivered. But again, if you're a tenant, you're a landlord, you know somebody who's a tenant, whatever it may be, please make sure that you provide this information. It's helpful for our community going forward. And this will be every year.
Yes, this happens annually.
So we'll be back again next year.
Yes.
Yeah, begging for more information.
We'll keep making it better every year so we can keep going up and not fall back again.
That's right. So very important for our soldiers in our community. So we appreciate any help. So thank you for coming in and sharing that with us.
Yeah, well, thank you for the opportunity.
Great. So we're going to cover a few things real quick before we let you go today. So the first thing I wanted to mention was Friday night we had our first in 3 years, our annual awards gala and our annual meeting. And it was great. I'm sorry if you missed it. It was so much fun. We had a wonderful time. And but I just wanted to go over our winners. So we have, it's an awards gala. And we have 4 winners. We have a home-based business, a nonprofit, a small business, and a large business. So our winners this year for our home-based business was Deb's Accounting and Office Services out of Wichita City. So congratulations, Directorate. And our nonprofit of the year, Peach's Pantry. Congratulations, Peach's Pantry. Our small business of the year was Mr. Fix-It. So congratulations to them again as well. And our large business of the year was the Herald Review Media. So congratulations to all of our winners. It was a great night. So we'll see you out next year. Same bat time, same bat channel. It's for us older folks that remember watching Batman when we were kids. So I want to thank our sponsors again for that. SSVEC and Agile Defense, Pioneer Title, and Herald Review Media. So thank you again to our sponsors for that. It was a great night. Reminder that we are going to Tuscany in October. If you're interested in going along, you can jump on our website and get signed up there. You don't have to be a chamber member in order to go on the trip, but it is October 3rd through October 11th, and it is $3,449. And so that covers your flight, your hotel, some of your food, some of your day trips. So it's a really good deal, and we're going to Tuscany. You can go have some fun. So anybody can sign up though. If you're interested, if you need more information, you can jump online. There's a video on there as well, or you can give us a call here at the chamber. Also coming up in August 20th is our annual Home Health and Business Expo at the Mall at Sierra Vista. It is the one expo we will be having this year. So if you're interested in being a vendor there, having a booth, make sure you jump on svachamber.com and get registered for that. Registration is open. You do not have to be a chamber member. Of course, our chamber members get a better deal. But if you're interested in being a chamber member, you can give us a call here as well, or jump on our website and you can sign up through there. Also, the Take Your Business Online program, that's our free program to help you take your brick and mortar business online as well. Again, that is open to any business in Cochise County. If you're interested in learning more about getting your business online, you can just fill out the interest form that's on our website at svachamber.com, and we will get you into the class and get you going. Also, sponsorships are available and they are in our online store. So if you're a chamber member and you're interested in sponsoring one of our upcoming events, you can purchase those through the online store. If you have questions, feel free to give us a call here as well, 458-6940. And don't forget to download our app. All this information, our website, everything is in the app. So you can have everything at your fingertips. And we always like it that way. Even with our events, if you download the app, you can get to our events and there's a Google map that tells you where you're going. And so that's always helpful for me. Where are we going today? So that's all we have for you today. We are the Sierra Vista Area Chamber of Commerce, your chamber for 62 years.